Hello viewers and welcome to Tech Tips. This is Byron. This week I'm going to show you another post-panelization process. So this is if our panel is created, it's already done, and we want to, in this case, get it looking a little more detailed, specifically regarding the horizontal there, that noggin on either side. I want the notches there for those studs to come through. We could also do this on the tracks. In this case, we don't have C's on those tracks or U's, so I won't, but definitely it would apply there as well. And I wouldn't do this for all the panels. It's going to be a little bit resource heavy, which is basically why we don't do it. But as far as CNC goes, let's say if we're outputting these to machines, by default, those are going to be done, right? It's going to see the web lines where they intersect and create the notch accordingly. But if we want to have that level of detail in the model itself, we can do that. It's not so hard. The very first thing we're going to have to do is modify these stud families. And I'll go ahead and do that first. And what we're going to need to do is I'm going to add an extrusion on this family here. Make it a rectangle to match exactly what the stud itself is. We could constrain it. I'm not going to at this point. We can kind of make it fit every different type of a stud family that we might have, stud type rather. And I will constrain on the top though. And I'm going to make sure that this is actually a void, and we'll want to check to make sure that this cut with voids when loaded is checked. By default, I believe your studs will not be. So just make sure that this here is checked. Then we'll hit OK. We've got the void. We've got that checked. So what do? We load it into the project. Yeah. We won't see anything just yet, because we actually have to create the cuts. So to do so, just hit the cut option here, select the member that will be getting cut, and then the member that is doing the cutting. And we could see that notch created for us. And we could, if we had our own parameters set up, we could have a gap created, make the notch a little bigger than the stud itself. It'd be up to us, up to you. And if I have a shortcut for this option, I can go pretty fast throughout the entire member like this. And there's our notching for each of those. Pretty accurate. Nicely detailed. Again, not something I would do for every single panel, but certainly if you'd like to have that enhanced level of detail for one or two select families, then by all means, yeah, definitely, we can certainly go ahead and do that. I'm going to just isolate this element just so we can take a look at it. And we could see really fast all the notching. And it was just basically go into our stud family, add that void, make sure it's cutting, and load it back in, and then cut the geometry. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. This was Tech Tips.